This again is a case where you look at a plain figure and decide to just integrate along the path. It helps you to be able to determine strength at a particular location, maybe magnetic strength on of the magnetic field. So if you have magnetic fields, what the strength is at a particular location, you'll be able to do that using line integrals. So the first part is a multiple integral. The second part is line integrals, and then the last part is differential equations. For differential equations, we'll look at. I'm basically dealing with the ordinary differential equations. That's why you see ODE. So I'll deal with first order differential equations, second order differential equations, but because most of the work, you are basically doing differential equations for control systems. So we'll look at how to be able to solve differential equations with what is known as Laplace transforms. So I'll introduce you to Laplace transforms and then discuss the applications of this. Laplace transform is an integral transform. So ideally, this should be fine. I'm trying to figure out what is the best way to handle this class, knowing that I am dealing with integrals. Basically, if you look at the work, because if I have differential equation, again, I'll have to integrate. So I am not sure which system will be most useful. I have a software I can use, but you might not have access to it. So I'm trying to see what else I can use that would be easier for you, especially now that you are at home. So to do a quick review, is there anything you would want me to talk about from last 2 semesters? Mass 1, Mass 2, Mass 1 you differentiated functions, right? Mass 1 was more about differentiation, am I right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Mass 2 was more about integration. I know you did vectors. I know you did complex numbers. I know you did matrices.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good. How did last semester go with the online lessons and everything else? How did it go?
He said it was good.
It was quite comprehensive.
It went well.
It was what?
It was quite
It was good.
Please give me an honest feedback. I need an honest feedback.
He said it was very good.
It was normal.
Thank you. Normal. Good. Which is great. Adjectives. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Nana, I completely what's the name? Is it Nana or Nana? I'm not sure. Depending on how the name is pronounced, it might be a female name or a male name. But I think Kwejo makes it a male, so I think it is Nana Kwejo something. Good. I completely agree with you. Depending on opinion from Joseph on method to assess the integrals from home. Solved on A4 sheet, recorded and sent over WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah, that method made it a bit difficult to ask questions because there was no interaction. But fortunately, this semester we'll be having this virtual meeting, so you can ask your questions. You can actually unmute yourself and ask questions. That is possible, but I just do not think I'll be able to tolerate the background noise. I am still in the office, so I'm actually on campus while teaching. So I have a good environment to teach. But you, if you're at home, I'm not sure how conducive your environment is for learning. But as it stands, we can't. Our lives can't come to a halt just because of few issues. We'll still have to make progress anyway. Toby, what do you mean by who told you? I'm not sure what you're responding to and whatever that is. Please. Please, everybody is free to express his opinion here, so you don't question somebody else's opinion. I think we must have some degree of tolerance for each other here. No, I'm still asking questions about integrals, so I need to know why is today called Teachers' Day or something? Is today Teachers' Day? Okay, so somebody said they were able to communicate with the lecturer during when they had difficulties. So it means that, all right, thank you, Joseph, thank you, Samuel, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I don't have any idea myself. I don't know what is Teachers' Day. I don't know that teachers get celebrated. There's a day for teachers. Good. Okay, but what is important for me in this class is your techniques of integration. So my goal here is to be able to explain to you how to do double integrals and triple integrals. So I'm expecting that you know you have all the techniques to do integration. You can do integrations by parts, you can do integration using partial fractions, you can use integrations, what's it called, with trigonometric substitutions and all those techniques you were taught. I'm sure you can still remember them and get them done. Great. Good. So as someone who, and I'm giving you my course outline, what are some of the things you would want me to know when I start teaching? So I'll start the double integral on Wednesday, basically. But what are some of the things that you wish I need to know before I start? So Wednesday, 8 o'clock, we have lectures. And I'll start teaching. Looking at the number that is here today, 60, that is quite substantial for me to start teaching. Even though that is, ideally, that is about 1/3 of the class. So I have about 1/3 of the class being present, which is great for me to be able to work with. 30% or 33% of the class is good enough. So I'll start teaching on Wednesday, but what are some of the things that you need me to know while before I start my work? Okay, Abdul-Wahab, you said you have to revise. I hope you are not saying I have to review it with you. You are going to do the revision yourself. Oh, Prince, you said you can't hear me. Okay, so who else cannot hear me? Is it from my end or from your end? If you can't hear me, please let me know. Prince, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is going to happen is I'll keep updating my slides as I progress. So whatever I have to do, I'll type it and then add slides as I progress. Since you can now hear me, that is okay. But if at any point in time you can't hear me, feel free, just let me know. Okay, sir, please don't rush too much when you start teaching. I understand. Why did somebody tell you that I rush when I'm teaching? That is definitely going to be a challenge to me. Doing my lectures as a recorded video is going to be a challenge to me, definitely. So, what I'm going to do, what I can do is I upload my slides before my lectures, so you can go through it and then take note of the things you don't understand. But I'm not going to do a recorded video. So please, I'll upload my slides, and then, because if I'm doing a recorded video, then there's no need for the virtual meeting. So I'm going to upload my slides onto the Google Classroom. So right after this meeting, I'll upload the materials that you need. I'll upload the textbook, the recommended textbooks, and all the other materials. But then my slide is not complete. So I'm going to be updating my slides with time. So by tomorrow afternoon, you get my slide, and then you can go through it before my Wednesday class. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll upload my slides, and then you can go through the slides before we meet, and so you can ask the questions that you need. And after every lecture, I'll allow you to ask questions. And not only that, I would also have, before I start a new lecture, I'll give you the opportunity to ask questions based on previous lectures. So I would be able to get feedback. And I need it to be very constructive in giving me feedback. Let me know exactly how I have to improve, because teaching you or teaching math online, I can imagine what it's going to be. But I'll try and do my best for you. But I don't think I'm going to do videos, recorded videos, please. SL or Rocky says, I was wondering if you could sometimes record some of your lectures that you think or know is difficult or might be difficult. I think you're asking me the wrong question. I don't even think any of my courses are difficult. So, it will help because we can replay it over and over again. Yes, I would have ideally record my sections, but I've come to realize that Google Classroom doesn't have that feature of recording. So last semester when I was teaching with Zoom, I actually recorded because Zoom has that feature to record the meetings. But this one doesn't have the feature of recording, so I don't exactly know how to get that thing recorded for you, because there's no inbuilt function in Google for recording. It is designed as a classroom, so you sit in class, you get it, or you miss the class, you don't get it back. It's as simple as that. You can only get the notes. Florence, I think I've addressed that issue, that I am not very sure if that can be done because of the platform we are using. Sir, please, we will need questions with only answers attached to it so we can know our stance. I'm not sure if I get that right. Honestly speaking, when I'm teaching people, I don't teach with exams in mind. I teach because you are engineers who need mathematics as a tool. If you do not see yourself as a student engineer, then I'm sorry, you may have to start seeing yourself that way. I don't teach with exams in mind, honestly speaking, because for an engineering person or for a nautical scientist, you're basically using math as a tool. Math is just a tool. It's a problem-solving tool. So I'm not so much bent on exams. In any case, you're going to have take-home exams. You're just going to sit in the comfort of your home. It's more like doing an assignment anyway and bring it back to me to mark. And I recommend you use a textbook. So I'm going to give you a textbook, and then you would have to use the textbook. So you can try questions from the textbook. I'm basically coming to explain ideas and other things to you in my class. Someone, I can install screen recorder. Thank you. It's not that whether I can do it or I can't do it. It is whether I want to do it or I should do it. Am I under any obligation to do it? Oh, so Joseph, you're saying there are students. So please, let me go. Let me attend to Joseph. The students yet to be given the school mail. Sir, will the lectures be repeated once the addresses are ready? Most especially the diploma students who want to upgrade to degree. Don't they already have email addresses? Joseph, don't they already have email addresses? If they are in the diploma program, like if they've done first year diploma and they are upgrading to degree, don't they already have email addresses? I think diploma students have email addresses. They don't? Okay, so I'll pick that up. So what do you suggest? You mean I shouldn't start my lectures on Wednesday? You think they wouldn't have it by Wednesday? No, they used your first name and your last name. How can it expire? But that's good. It's a good information. I'll check up on that. If those who are grading, if they can just. Okay, so some degree students also have problem with their email addresses. So what do you suggest? You suggest we shouldn't meet on Wednesday? Is that what the suggestion is? Do you think that by next week, Monday, they will get it? Because we can't continue to be waiting for them. Will they get their emails by next week, Monday? Then I can say, okay, let's give them this week for them to be able to get those issues addressed. Then Monday I start teaching. Will that solve the problem? Please unmute yourself and speak.
Sir, good evening. Please, I'm very sure by next week, most of them will get their email. And sometimes, too, it's not really from the school, it's how they set their email up.
Come again.
Come on. Then on our to set it up before they can get the email so they can join us. Thank you.
Okay. So you are of the opinion that we should be able to have the lectures on next week Monday instead of Wednesday, if I'm getting you right. Joseph, is that your submission?
Yes, please.
Looks like most of you think that we should meet on Monday. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Okay, so I'll upload my stuff, my materials, I'll put them online, and then you can basically just check on it before we meet on Monday. I'll start teaching on Monday. If there's any other thing that I need to know, you can just let me get that before the Monday. But hopefully, looking at the number of people who have signed up, now I have 124 out of 186. I think it's a good number. It's more than half. That is actually 2/3 of the class have joined. Today's meeting, I have about 60 something. That is like 1/3 of the class. So ideally, we can actually start the lectures. But I understand if there are people who are still struggling with their emails and it's not their fault, we don't have to punish them or leave them behind. Are there any challenges that I need to know about, please? Are there any challenges I need to know about?
Slow network, sir.
Moses, can you please speak up?
Sir, the network is just fluctuating a bit.
What about your other classes? What about your other classes?
We only had one lecture today, really.
Okay. Okay, then if there's nothing else I need to know, can I end the session? There are a few charts. Let me just read through. The network is bad. Okay, network is a problem. Sir, please, will the Math 3 have anything doing with MATLAB and other softwares? Yes, MATLAB can do most of the work for you. If you have MATLAB, I've not tried Octave. So Joseph, because I taught you computer studies too, which we have actually not completed, it ended halfway. Yes, MATLAB can be very useful. MATLAB can do most of the work for us, but are there other softwares? Yes, there's a software that can be done, but a software can be very, very useful. It's called Maple. But I'm not sure how much of the software I want to get involved in this work. And knowing very well that we have also not finished that section, I don't think I want to get too much software involved in the work. Okay, so there, Florence, there is a software that it's called Maple, Maple. It's expensive, but I'm actually negotiating with them that they should reduce the price for my students. We've been going back and forth with it. I'm not really sure. We've not agreed on a price yet. Text Studio will be helpful. Thank you for asking about Text Studio. For marine engineers, because I taught you using Text Studio, you will have to submit all your work to me using Text Studio. I'm sorry. You would have to type all the work and submit to me using Text Studio. My slides are typed with Text Studio, so I am actually using LaTeX to prepare my slides. So you can see from my work that I'm using Text Studio. The fact is that I have a missed class here. That is some of you, I didn't teach BE students. I didn't teach, what's the call? BNS students. So it would be unfair if I expect them also to use Text Studio. So Emmanuel, for BME students, if your index number has anything to do with BME, you don't have a choice but to type my work. I said there are cracked versions of Maple. Could it be used alongside? Well, if you have a cracked version, that's good. That you can use, fine. Anything you want to do. I definitely do not encourage it. Oh, Mathematica would also help. If you have, I know Mathematica is online. Mathematica will also help. But my biggest challenge is, so Mathematica will help. Joseph, Mathematica will be very helpful. Again, if there's a cracked version of Maple, that's fine. I actually have Maple on my software. Like I have Maple, I can share the interface with you. If you have a cracked version, that's fine. So I have, I'm sharing Maple with you. So this is something I can easily do if I have to integrate anything. It clearly gives me whatever I'm looking for. If I'm integrating with respect to X, it pops up and it gives me an answer. So this is something I can easily do. If I'm integrating, so if I'm integrating X times cosine of X with respect to X, I can easily get this output. Can you see my screen? Can you see the Maple screen?
No, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
No, I'm sharing a presentation. So this is Maple. Maple can basically do the integrations for you. So if I need to do a double integral, I just type it double integral, maybe x times y times exponential function of maybe y minus x something. I have this. I integrate with respect to x. I also integrate with respect to y, and then I have this. So it gives me an output. It clearly gives me an output. It gives me the function that I'm looking for. And the good thing about this is that I can always get this. The MATLAB can do a similar thing. I can actually do integrations in MATLAB. I can do the same thing. So, yes, I don't actually encourage, personally, I don't encourage what's it called, cracked versions of softwares, because somebody's intellectual property, somebody spent a lot of time in the lab to develop this. So I think that we must be intellectually honest. Somebody's work, why do you want to steal it? Or why do you want to use it without paying for it? How would you feel spending all your time learning and then you come up with something and somebody has a cracked version of it and is using it? I basically buy my softwares. I don't use cracked versions of software, because I understand that is somebody's effort. If you also want to be paid for something, think of what you do to be paid for it. You don't like my submissions, right? But I think it is a very bad culture to be like using cracked softwares and stuff. So it's common here, but it's very bad. And the fact that we can get away with it doesn't make it right. My biggest challenge is to be able to negotiate with MapleSoft to get the price, because I used it and I contacted them. I'm like, I want to be able to get my students back. They will have to give us a reduced price, so it's not too expensive for students to buy. Okay, so Emmanuel says that some of us mates are not using laptop, instead using their phone. Using software, especially for the online, is difficult. I completely understand. Last semester exams. What do you mean by last semester exams? I'm not sure. Did you write any exams with me, or you're talking about something else? Papali, please unmute and speak. Let me hear you. Oh, computer studies. Yeah, that is postponed until further notice. It is.
So that one we used to chat again, right?
Yeah, we have postponed it for the main reason that if it was on campus and then I give you a project to do, you don't have any excuse, because you could use the computer lab to get the work done. Okay, you could have used the computer lab to get the work done. But in a case where you are not on campus, if I give anything and you're like, oh, I don't have a computer, as you're saying, you don't have a computer, you don't have this, then it will not be fair. You don't have the tools, and yet I'm expecting you to get results for me.
So to do the chat again, or when we just write the exams.
Come again.
Will
I teach you again?
Or when we write the exams.
I don't even remember what was the last thing we did in that class. So yeah, I may have to meet you about 2 weeks before you write the exams. And it's not going to be an in-class exam. It's just, I'll give you a project, I'll give you something, you do it with MATLAB. You do it with MATLAB, and then you just produce a report for me using Text Studio. That's all. That's all I need. I just need those skills. However, in this class, I'll need those skills to come to bear. So I'll need you to use those skills you have acquired in computer studies, even though you haven't written the exams.
Not to how to use.
Come again.
Just number.
Can we stop talking about Text Studio? There are other people here on this class that have nothing to do with Text Studio, please. Theresia, I'm sorry. I don't think I agree with you. No, please, let's get this concept, okay? The only thing we are moving away, ideally, you'd have been here sitting in class, and I'll be here teaching you in class. So ideally, you'd have been on campus, and I would have walked over to you at the lab complex or somewhere and teach you. Now we don't have that, so I will have to meet you online and make my presentation. So if you miss the online, it's like if you don't come to the lab complex, what do? You get the notes from your friends and copy, right? Hello, let's be honest. If you don't come to the lab complex for me to teach you, what do? You get the notes from your friends and copy, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. So in this case, if you don't come to the virtual section, you just go back to the online platform and download the slides. That is the notes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, just if you think about it that way, you wouldn't stress yourself. Think about it that, okay, for one reason or the other, I didn't go for the lecture in the lab complex. So what do? You get the notes and copy the notes. It's as simple as that. So if you don't have a phone or you don't have a laptop or something, that is not a big deal. You get the notes because I'll always upload the notes. Somebody can download the notes and send it to you on WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right, so I'm ending this section. I'm ending the section now, if that's okay with you.
Fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you for today.
You're welcome. Take care.
So, sir, simply means Monday.
Come again.
I said it simply means that we will start Monday.
Yes, we're starting next week Monday. Thank you. We're starting next week Monday. That's what you have agreed on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
But meet you on Monday, same time.
All right. Yes, same time. Thank you.
Okay.